Go ahead and call forward with speaking of the child and be born with speaking of parents and everybody be striving to do.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start, I have a business on our agenda. There's a call from the community for anyone who wishes to address our commission or board of anything that is not on the agenda tonight. Is there anybody wishing to address us on that? No, okay. No requests.
Chair, we don't have requests.
The approval of the minutes for the May 8th, 2025. Very much.
Okay, those, so we're doing it sick for the new branch they were doing. I think there was a little bit omitted, actually for those. It kind of just went to in response to approach to the, where it makes about the actual, maybe like the comment might have been left out, I think, but it was, anyway, if you want to look at that, or might have been. Like the comments from the board about that elicited the response, it's not.
Oh,
It's not actually articulated anywhere, but.
You would have taken those till our next meeting.
Yeah, we got a motion with that. We look at this again next time.
Have a motion to stay with the minutes, so, second, have a motion and a second, and discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next up, the meeting schedule. That did a request to change our meeting for next month.
Chair, this year, because we always see on the first Thursday of the month, this item has brought for your consideration to annually approve a calendar of all upcoming meeting dates. This is data. Because the agreed upon, so a modification will that date requires this be agenda size and items. Our next meeting is on July 4th. The city has that occurring that night. Certainly, we felt it was in your best interest to be able to enjoy that event they're hosting and adjacency to July 4th. The contrary to 40 ball consideration. Certainly will follow your direction on how you look.
Do you anticipate having a full enough agenda to have a that, or just spoke to the following talk about the regular?
Chair, at this time, I may have one item that would be possible for a July meeting, though as summer increases, usually vacations too as well. So there may be an item that would be heard in time in July, but that is all I can advise on from home.
Preferences.
I'm abstracted, so I see if Zoom phone or no meeting, so no big deal.
And I recommend that we just cancel that meeting and add the agenda item to August meeting. Is that allowed, or change the next available?
Sure, so Chair, there isn't an item on July, just a calendar, there is July agenda yet to postpone the table. So at this time, I can just advise the pile on my desk. It's one item on my desk at this time.
Could we add in there that if there are several things, more than one thing that needs to be addressed or something, really make sure that we meet on the 10th?
How far the best to done this?
Sure, 24 hours will be state law requirement.
Oh, okay.
No, we usually like to go about a week ahead of time.
Okay. Well, I just think we should just cancel it until August 7th meeting, and then, but if you suggest that we just start to pile up, then maybe Trump could be an alternate days to get caught up in meeting too.
The rest of our support is that they for that will whatever. So
That's, I would suggest that we just cancel this meeting and leave it alone. Down the road. So something truly came out.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Otherwise, I'm worried. Yeah. I'm pretty well with it. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully else comes up in a different.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll go back. Sure.
Well, make any motion of any member, like,
I move we just pull the plug on the line. Meeting. Unless somebody else comes up.
I'll step in there.
The motion is second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Alright. So I will see the approval of orchard model. That has Mr. Meyer and Sarah. The applicant present.
yes.
We have asked some questions, but I'm going to. Stop.
Thank you, Chair, no notice of the board, couple loud speech tonight. Okay, food selection lots, so we'll go to the first report, is item 5C. Approval of the model, the applicant is Brandon Armetta. The butter is Henry Spring. It is at 565 East of Sarah Lane, this is a request to rebuild front porch and entry by Ross Lane, by this request came off this. The zoning is R1, and it is a request to essentially rebuild the trellis previously behind the arch facade. I'll show you the facade on the next slide, but during their renovations, which discovered that that facade is no longer structurally sound and cannot be essentially fixed, so there is an alternative that's being discussed. The facade itself that is no longer viable is highlighted here in the James Bond style spotlight. That is, yeah, I think it's thing. Yeah, maybe it's no longer attached to the house that's about. So the request is to essentially rebuild the trellis. There was trellis that spanned behind that arch facade along that entryway, going to that back. That's part of the feature in that same location. The only difference would be the arch block is no longer part of that, instead these freestanding posts to hold that up. From the bottom and from the front, you have essentially a better view of the front door than you do today. That trellis feature again would span across that entire interior feature, and from above would essentially match what was previous behind in that facade. The other thing you'll notice is these windows no longer of the arch shape, but they're a rectangular or square shape. This was done a series of improvements. Backyard, this first one received these squared up, something said the front yard now has as well. And essentially this trellis would stick with that maybe more linear design as we're heading for. So we do feel proposed improvements are harmonized with the new architecture program. These elements has essentially pretty loud and zoning code. They have not received comments on this proposal, so the request is to approve the portrait model at 565 Sarah Lane. Case number is PC 2542. Subject to the exhibits provided by the applicant. Stipulation 1 follows building permit issued by the city is required for the construction on the new trust. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Yes.
Do you have anything to add to this?
And if you could, click the mic.
Say the name. Yes, the record.
That is the construction. No, the only thing I would just add is the damage to the block had is actually separating from the structuring. So we had to do some additional block work that's for all windows. So at that time, we rebuilt the corner where the old block was connected. Just because of the cost of those marshes, because this is. Better solution. Fits the budget.
Any comments or questions for the staff? So let's make a motion.
Make a motion. For what was discussed earlier as far as all the minutia. Randy, you got that?
Your motion as recommended by the city staff to approve as submitted with the stipulations recommended by the city staff.
That's my motion. As a verbatim, Randy Gates.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next up, new perimeter wall. At 400 South Old Road. That's the application, that's oh, the man question for you, so, let me, I need to first.
95G is the new perimeter wall that the church would like to steer on behalf of your leadership. The address is 400 South Old Road, Road, South Street, and it's a request to rebuild the perimeter wall around the area of proposals. Design is on the facility and the requested facility is this one white wall with stucco around the new photovoltaic system. They just installed solar panels on the roof and is it ribbon cutting source coded? As far as we were all invited to go see the new solar panels when that story. Yes. There's like they keep providing us. And then the existing gas unit. It's all adjacent to the parking lot on the west side of the building. I don't have great photos, just take the street view and zoom in very closely just to get a sense of what was and what will be. That wall, because of all this work, moved and it's now being question to be rebuilt. On the left is what the ideal solution would look like, is to match the existing. On the right is where they're at today. This discussion this evening. You can see a little bit of the photovoltaic system out here. So the request is essentially build a wall to hold all that up, as well as a perimeter wall, see here in the trench. There's one of our stipulations that so long as Southwest Gas doesn't mind the proposed meter and equipment, there's no concern of ours, as long as they comply out. Here's some more photos just showing a little bit more of the context again, real close up. Look at it northeast and a little further south, still looking north. So it does meet all the requirements of the walls, sort of materiality and the maximum height allowed. Meets all the section all the requirements of section 39, the design to use it. And we have not received any public comments to proposal. So the request is to approve EC 2531. The addition of the wall located at 400 South Position Road. Subject to this provided by the applicant, stipulations 1, 1, increases follows building permit issued by the city will be required for any constructions to occur. 2, can provide the approval from Southwest Gas to relocate the wall around the equipment. Which we are responding. I'd be happy to answer any questions or the applicant might consider as well.
If you have any questions.
And so I've been kind of asked before, so I'm just, because I'm not sure if I need to look harder, I don't even know why this came to the, or why it didn't become therapy. It seems like it's like within the kind of basic.
Sheriff, remember Dudley. We're still being joined there. 2.5 weeks of the probation is over. So I tend to err on the side of bringing these things for you. Certainly this one being more than the 3 feet front yard situation, and now it's 6 foot perimeter at the base of the parking lot. It's commercial nature. I didn't feel okay with the administrative review of this. There have been more lively conversations with having participated in some of the more innocuous pieces that I thought before here, so I didn't want this to get missed conversation. As we continue to get to know each other, if there is a more pertinent involved means that this board, I'm happy to address
Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to like, I don't mean to put you in a defensive position, I just, when I see it, I'm like, I'm missing something, like, that's kind of good, and so that's why I'm asking, so I'm like, am I missing something here? Okay, great. Okay, that's good. Seems pretty straightforward.
Any other questions for staff or?
Yeah, have you reached out to Southwest Gas Station?
City name.
I'm Michael Vega, I'm the junior warden of St. Peter's Church. Facilities, it's my responsibility. I have contacted 2 private licensed plumbers to discuss the pipe. Both of them recommended that a permit for the wall be the Southwest Gas on a budget and those. At that point, Southwest Gas had a recommendation and modified plan for their recommendation.
And a follow-up, if I can't tell from what I'm seeing, is there access? So I know Southwest Gas, I work for them, is going to require access to that portion. Is there a gate for?
You're correct. There will be a gate or there will be an opening. Currently, if we were to not get a permit for the wall and just have cut the wall, we would have a gap for the gas. Where vehicles could still possibly enter the gas, so our goal was to have the wall block the gas. And open the fence on the north side, instead of the west side for entry. So that would not face anything to burn up.
Yeah. Sorry.
Pretty straightforward.
Um,
You say pretty straightforward.
I move to approve the proposed addition. These gates for project should be on. Subject to the provided.
motion for the second.
So,
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 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 Any opposed? Okay.
thank you.
So this approval for Winnie Casada at 685 East Palm Street.
Thank you, I provide you to say, the application is here in front row. That is just 685 East Palm Street is a request to the facade used to Palm. The zoning department was continuing the request to update manage at all 2 high walls, all pointing walls, clean walls, patio. Would be removed, new front door, garage door, kitchen window, and spatial update as well, should be moving to the. This is current, at least mostly current, as far as, before, picture as it is, control target, it's just off screen to the back, towards the east side of the house. Thing, and I apologize for being small when compared to instead. You'll know that you won't see anything as far as outside, everything is as is, there's a, this is a, fishing traction. Those, this is interior change only and, front steel as well. On the left, I'd say is the floor, on the right is the back, however. It was up, and I included this in, the second part as well as exists, it's inspirational mode, this is not the actual house. Clearly, there are differences between, roof lines that are being proposed, shape of windows. This is something that we often have provided, to basically give the intent of the after the fact as far as, landscape changes. You mean, we'll see all the state of the house. Now, perhaps to remember Dudley's point earlier, within the zoning administrator duties, there is an allowance for the zoning administrator. In this case, which is that, which is the manager, myself acting as zoning administrator in those situations to administratively approve exterior finishes. Color changes are consistent with color, by the time before. Because of some of our recent cases, I felt best to bring this before you to have ongoing discussions as we, again, as I mentioned earlier. So there's now the intent of the desire of the board, your interpretations of the code versus mine, so we want to present This change, this application for you for consideration. So, in regard to, just finish up the presentation, but obviously they call funds as proposed. Now, our request is to approve, proposed consolidated easy 25 for, 685 East Palm Street, that's. Subject is provided by that, in two stipulations. One, the building permit is issued by the city will require before any construction to occur. Two, no modification may occur with the city's right of way. Had a few people lately that have done improvements outside of the property bounds. Depending on your neighborhood, sometimes that property line, like, the city's sidewalk, occasionally it's 10 feet, right, city sidewalk. So we want to make sure that, you are not approving nor are we permitting anything within that right of way, especially anything vertical. Certainly any shrubs, landscaping, no concern, feel free to go forward. With that, if I can answer any questions, and Nate's here as well for answer.
Staying farming. Or,
Yes. Or you want to speak to?
yeah, that's
Sure. Okay.
So what part of the house, to the, on either side of the entry, or just below?
Yes, Chair, I apologize, I should question once more. The two wing walls are being, questioned. Also, are, these two, right? So these two high walls to be removed. The existing ones on the outside will remain as it is on both ends of the house. There will be, these two bays to be created. Easier access, grander front and entryway, it probably is a better way to describe it.
Would you like to share any other information?
No, it's pretty much, we're trying to get our goals to look just like this, but, and then just try to mirror as much as we can. I mean, really, like, that photo is like pretty much exactly what we're going off of, lines to being, the exact house. Nothing really, like, you know, like for the landscaping, everything's, we're gonna try to make it look like that also.
Say your name for the. Recording that.
Nathan, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure if clear on whether or not you, so the intention is to like stucco with the block or just to paint it or?
We're gonna paint. So, block, we're gonna keep the block. We wanna keep the house. Error correct as possible, but just that type of approach keep on the outside. And try to open up the entryway a little more. So, cool, we want the curb appeal.
So that very well, so if you're just gonna do the block on the outside of the garage, or you just finish it with that wood look?
Well, on the sides of the garage, we wanna do some wood cladding on the side of the looks like yet. Because we're not to that stage yet, that's pretty much, you know, extend the work like that on the sides.
Any more, or using ceramic or resin board to mimic wood, but not have the issues with wood?
Say that again.
More and more people are using, like, looks like wood, but it's not, it's either ceramic tile or it's resin pop out. It's more durable than actually big. Or outside in here, so.
So, and then also just to have a confirmation, but so it looks like you're kind of making the opening of the door smaller, et cetera.
We're gonna, so we're gonna move the door as center as we can, structure, and then, the walkways, the side of the door, assuming more. Over the wing walls, we're gonna.
The wing walls you're gonna keep.
Well, the side ones, we're gonna.
Oh,
It's more like you make it flat.
oh, we can leave that on, so
The horizontal, like,
I think he's talking about that exterior.
yes.
Yeah, so I would like to like, remove, like, just open this up and move the door this way. And then this one, I don't really know if I want to remove it, should I say that now?
Yes.
Because this, yeah, it's like, I don't really know, like, I don't really, we're not on the outside face, so it's kind of hard to say.
I mean, I would recommend requesting me to remove it, and if we approve it, then you're okay with it.
Okay, I'll request to remove that one too, also, the one where that's always to the right side then.
Okay. Am I, you heard the balance and, if you're leaving it on that side, maybe you're not interested in a balance, right?
We'll see the process, but yeah.
And then.
You should be there.
We're lost.
Works.
All right, any other questions?
Yes. What about the roof? Are you doing any structural work to the roof, or you're just taking the front off and bringing the
I don't think you're changing that.
Crushing that at all.
but you see, you've got the triangle and you've got the.
Yeah, that is, she said, it's just the
Inspiration, so just very much that color scheme is what we're looking to accomplish.
So you're not gonna change,
No, you're not.
alright, so it really doesn't look like that, it's gonna look that.
Just the color scheme per se, and the landscaping, in the garage door and doors and be very similar.
Cool, that's awesome.
Any other questions?
Your turn.
I'm that we approve the SADA, PC 2540 at 685 is subject to the exhibits provided by the applicant and stipulations on it.
Question. Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Elena made a fun building, they said it right?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
It's Jay Boyer and company are here,
okay,
but so this item, 5F, North Lane. The address, we don't really have an address at all, because. Yeah, it's not between the jail on its own, honestly. Yeah. And this will be somewhere between 211 and 299 West Pine Farms. This is a request from the historic big streets, development of Industrial Square. This falls under the same purview that all of our projects in fact, of course, fall under. You as a design review board, which is the recommendation body to city council with the Senate projects. So. Unfortunately. Our council member, Lisa Brandon, we're about to use, but she will see this in 2 weeks as it's based on the discussion before the. So essentially, the zoning is within the city center, what we call now the Litchfield Square, request of is for building 20,000 square feet of ground floor retail restaurant uses. With 20 condo units that are on the second and third stories, private garages, gated access behind the building on the south side. This is also finalized the design of City Hall parking lot. City Hall is lot 15, the proposal is lots 13 and 14. We believe that there will be some replatting involved as the City Hall parcel is not even big enough to park cars. I have talked to Woody Scout about how that ended up being the way it is. The applicant has been very kind in these discussions to look at how we work together. The other part of that is there are a number of offsite improvements that have yet to be completed as part of that package, and part of it is parking solution would be to add angle parking along with one boulevards. 2 depictions for you, just real quick from the overhead view. City Hall is the ghosted area bottom left. The majority of the parking is situated within lot 14, that is the Oklahoma piece, let's call it. And this was originally the intent of our predecessors. A lot of the lots were split, or all those squares were split as one for parking, one for the building footprint. This happened with lots 3 and lot 4, the majority of lot projects, Harris Partners projects, so lot 3 parking is on lot. With Rodolfo on lot 1 and lot 2, instead of bisecting with this, he bisected like this, which we appreciate the proximity of the building to park. Similar vein, the majority of the buildings on lot 13 to the north, adjacent to the park. Park is the draw, the park is the center, buildings wrap. Park. The park subsequently falls to the south along the Blue Line. You see a portion of our parking lots, let's call it, for City Hall falls within their property at this time. The other thing I forgot to mention at the start of this conversation is this is your first flush look at this. The applicant has not received our technical review comments of this proposal yet. Our technical review, your feedback tonight, the city council feedback, please, we bundled into a package for the applicant, his team to address. But the next time you see it, it is the final plans for your recognition, city council approval. And hopefully that occurs in August along with the sale of land, as well as the development agreement has 3 items for consideration in about 2 months' time. The landscape improvements are on all sides of the building. There's a centralized breezeway on the first floor. That first floor breezeway is not, is covered by the second, third story. Condos that have elevations, ready to show you in subsequent slides. There is a bit of a gap between the edge of the city's property and the start of this building. These are outdoor spaces that will most likely be used for patio spaces for most restaurants. Yeah, it's proposing restaurants on the inside street corners as well as the outside street corners. Advise them, coffee shop on the west, dinner place in the east, no one wants to sit in the sun, especially at 5 p.m. To the rear of the building are the garage units. The garage units are a direct access into a residential hallway. Commercial hallway is strictly abutting for the commercial use. There is no interaction between those two intentionally so that residents have their space and businesses have their home. The garages also feature full-length driveways. Some of these units are very large, and let the applicant talk more about the make of those units and what is contained within them. All of these units not only contain a 2-car garage, but they also contain a driveway park. Some, because of our limited space and our desire to go vertical, some only have garage use, a 1-car garage, not necessarily driveway response. In all of my years of doing this across 5 jurisdictions, I've never seen anyone with landscaping between driveways compared. Appreciate the fact that the landscaping between driveways. It will now be the default for anyone else that tries to do this without landscaping. And then again, subsequent parking surrounds lot 14. I didn't include it in this image below, but you can imagine we're putting parking here along with Long Boulevard along their section. Inca is what's bisects City Hall property and lot 14, and there will be parking as well. You can see right here in front of City Hall. So our depictions, the bottom image is if you were standing at the park looking south. The top or rendering elevation is if you were essentially floating above lot 9, lot 10, lot 12, looking south, east. We think we're close as far as the agreement between staff and applicant. However, we anticipate the discussion tonight with the 4 of you as far as how to get us across the finish line, the most convinced feel of the building. Again, you can see that breezeway element here on the first floor, storefronts, along with some of the materials I have here next to me. That'll wrap around those storefronts and slabs on lines. Lighting, of course, on the first, second, third floor. Outdoor patio stations, more residential units on both sides of the building, centralized terrace. Gives space usually for events, weddings, have you here on the top floor, amenities, which I'll let you describe as well for the residents. You can see those patio spaces are everywhere, on the second and third story. All across. On the rear of the building, again, the bottom image that you were saying on the boulevard at the top is if you were. So on top of this building, right there, you're on top of the library looking northwest. You can see the gated entry for the residential use. The driveway from Desert Avenue is still open for the commercial users to park on the rear. Here is look at the freestanding garage building. You know, part of our conversation is why this is the first round of review is I don't have elevation of that. But we'll get this part of our second review to take.
That's not gonna be a flat.
to evolve this conversation. The other thing we, cognizant of are fairly grand staircases. Stairs in these sorts of situations often go wrong, they look somewhat attached, they look like a pimple on the prom night, sort of sticking out from, the face of the building. This is grand potentially, it's stucco potentially, it comes out potentially, it's current levels. The garage units themselves also have a bit of overhang in that roof line, as well as being set in front of the facade of units and all for all the drives that line that entire area. This is again, it's the most courtyard for those that want to go from one end to the end. And then here's just looking at the flat view, let's call it, you see differences as far as penetration, as far as massing, some out, some wind, some noise, some roof line extensions. It's all intentional to break up a very big building. In some ways, this would be the biggest building as far as earth, quite frankly. Very excited for it. We want to see more of this. We want to create a parking shortage. We want to let her up. We want to have people here, not only coming for events, not only lunch there, but also brewing here and being part of this community, part of our health. There are some, small digital images of materials. The materials are also sitting next to me, and they were going to look, feel all passing around a handout they provided to us as part of their presentation. They had a presentation when we get to that part. They'd like to go over on the Marriott was going to provide to you so far. So you're seeing very appropriate, let's call it, uses, tiles, materials, colors that we anticipated. It's been evolution of conversation, let's say. We think we're again very close to appreciating feedback. So as I mentioned, this app, it has completed the first round of the so I'll provide all of that along with the red line package back to the applicant for update. Going forward, all those comments will be addressed and hopefully, again, we will finish line with August. So there is a recommendation for you this evening. It is to recommend approval to City Council. If that is not subject to stipulations at this time, City Council will not approve final design this month. It'll be the preliminary vote this. And I anticipate that in this conversation, we add some of those feedback items as stipulations to move forward. Again, for preliminary final design. With that, I will pause real quick. I'd be happy to answer questions, but as mentioned, yeah, also has specifications, so it may make more sense. Hold until that. Use the show. And yeah.
I hope it works. I don't know if it'll work with the PDF, but we'll try.
You may need to open it in Adobe and Edge.
Can I ask quickly, where did he?
That's another thing, that's both my daughters.
This is just how it is.
You have what?
The, you're thinking.
Oh, you do one of these? Oh.
I'm Jason Pointer, the developer and, husband of Stacy who's in front.
Stacy Mary, and thank you all for doing it. We put a little presentation together just about what kind of a harder on what we're trying to pull together in this, to bring to the community. He moved to the community, when we purchased a lot of 400 of this building in 2017. And we did that house in 2020, so we've been almost 5 years now. And it's been a very life-changing experience for us to be part of this community. Our kids go to great, well, we saw graduating senior now coming out of great arts over here. So we're senior graduate, but it's everything that I knew it would be, coming from Surprise to a community where the kids would be at our house. We'd be close to the school, close to activities, they're super involved. So I guess the heart behind this, we really wanted to bring a place of beauty to the city. That's very important to us. Our home is, it will be similar, it's the same design we use for their home. And
We also, of course, want to bring our heart, right, center of everything here. This was such an exciting project to us, because it's been that's in the forefront of the city for so many years. And we take it really seriously because we feel it's a legacy for us, not only as well as for the city. And so we just take that really for. And also, when I say maybe the community, we really envision exactly as Frank just mentioned. I mean, the reason commercial would have been easier, probably more profitable. The residential side of it is kind of what we are, where we come from. And I think the living aspect of it is gonna create the sense of community in that building. And so we envision, that top section of Jason through it, being such, we're gonna draw people out of their residences up there in those condos into, a community area where we're gonna have a chef that comes in and does, cooking dinner, cooking and cooking classes. And we have a big vision for what we want to bring to that building. So anyway, we're really excited about it. I would love for you to just, I don't need to read the whole thing to you, but there is a whole lot of passion behind our kids' names, and who they are and their race. And then I'll let you see kind of more about them.
Okay. Yeah, this is obviously we talked about this for a long time, and I don't know this.
You just not, I'm sorry, just let us know what you want to do.
No, you go to this. But so essentially, what this is gonna be is gonna be 20,000 square feet of commercial on the first level, and it's gonna be 20 luxury condos. There's there's two 4,000 square foot condos on the end that wrap around the entire building. There's gonna be 8 bedroom lofts, so they're both levels. There's 8 3,000 square foot condos in the front, those big patios that look north. And at the rear of the building, you have another 8 two bedroom with plus event condos and 2 1-bedrooms. Every condo has a 2-car garage, except for the 1-bedrooms, both each have a 1-car garage. Every resident there will have access to a private gym, which is shown in this photo right here. So it's almost a 3,000 square foot gym. It's gonna have a couple of cold plungers and a sauna. And that'll be part of the amenities. The idea of the rooftop space is like similar to here at Mayor Marley Park and Surprise. They kind of have a community area at weddings, birthday parties, this kind of thing. So we'll have like a little bar set up there. It's like a grill out station. It's not the commercial business, but it's gonna be for the residents. I know some people want me to put a pool in there, but we'll see what but we're just excited about being part of the whole park. And these 20 condos are not gonna be, are meant to be very high and they're gonna be luxuriously, all 20 condos, when you buy a person condo, you're gonna have interior design that's every condo will be just a bit different. The floor plans will be similar for the 8 2-bedroom lofts and the 8 3-bedroom lofts and the 2-bedroom lofts, or the 2 bedrooms on one level, but there's gonna be a ton of options on wines, fireplace, there's wine cellars, things of this nature, so they're gonna be nice. And that's really what our goal is, to be able to bring some nice, we make the condos nice, we're able to bring some nice, retail, some nice restaurants. And it's an artificial park, so we're not gonna do anything leasing it into any big national chains, anything that you're gonna see leased in our places will be local chains, upper projects, things like that. So, obviously, Stacey runs my thing, so I guess I have a style. I like the Santa Barbara style, and Randy requested, so. So, yeah, so that's all I got, thank you, we can take any questions.
I see like backs of the 3 stories, and then the setback from the frontage of the hotel to the outer edge of your archway, your gate.
Yeah, so setback from the, like, you're not just for the covered patio?
Yeah, the covered walkway in front,
Yeah, 12 feet,
it's 12 feet from.
yeah, and then plus we have additional, right, because we have an additional space there, so it's kind of like you get there's maybe falls out like half that's under, and then there's some, so. And that we'll only kick that out to our property line for the restaurants, at the end. Yeah, it's a pretty massive, covered walkway, and there's gonna be, signage inside for the restaurants, but also.
That's kind of I think this was always intended that you go to the property line. That was kind of the design intent when they laid out the square. It kind of, yeah, to and kind of another. But yeah, it was, because it doesn't really show, or it's hard to guess the scale on the site plan. Yeah, and then, but it did see, it seems set back deep enough. But it was kind of a big.
Yeah. Bro, and then what's that, where you go, person?
I say.
Oh, I think that minimum is, the maximum is like 54, and I think we're at like 53.5 to the top of the bell tower. Oh, 10 foot, the downstairs 15s, and then we're gonna have, the structures aren't done yet, but, there'll be 10 foot ceilings in both levels.
So the this next. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Oh. Oh, and anybody else have questions or staff or something? I have no questions yet.
So this is lovely. I'm curious about the awnings a little bit. This is very like interviews question, so overall, I think it's lovely. So we're just kind of recommending. Giving
How's the line, how do you?
So the awnings, I like them that they're fabric, I'm concerned, especially because they're on the south side.
I'll see.
Okay, and then my other concern a little bit is that I see a lot of windows on the south, I like the way they were varying it, but, there's a lot of windows that won't be getting correct light on the south side, they're just very.
Yeah, that's because I kind of looked at the floor plan like that, that hallway that's down like beyond the garages, that's one on the second floor and the third floor, right? So those are the only windows to those units on that side. So it's the only way to get natural light, and that's why I chose the north side to the higher, 3,000 square footers higher than lofts. The other side's gonna be more affordable condos, but, yeah, they're gonna have nice AC.
Yeah. Right. I guess we're, so, okay, and so this about, I guess I was concerned, like, it will be owned still by, they'll have an HOA or something, it's kind of.
Yeah, we have it, so the condos, the individual miles will be for sale. So, so we're gonna, assuming all this goes well, you're gonna get to replat this, so there'll be some, especially 21 addresses there, one address for the commercial, and then. We will sell them individually, and, there will be an HOA, because they're healthy. So, one of the kind of cool things about it is, to me, was like, if we obviously live in a, not a retirement, it's retirement community, I guess, I don't know. But there's definitely some older people, a lot of people, like, especially people at my stage of life, to be, there are places for our parents and grandparents and things like this, and, whether you have something at the first, second, or third level, that you're gonna have elevator access, that's gonna be nice.
Then just have one other question about the for Randy's, because I guess I was wondering, like, do we actually need to, like, approve this package, or we just kind of give
I
recommendations?
think it's recommended for the state that stage that it's at, knowing that it would be some changes after council and. Other council input and. We're just Brian and Brian local, so we're not really approving, but recommending for both of them.
So Jared, we're going to. Here, this is, similar to how we handle development. We're showing you the quick logic of it, you're recommending, whatever things you'd like to talk about. Your city council then give the same sort of keep going, recommendation of approval. We recommend that they approve the preliminary designs, up to, actually, there's a. So then work with Jay and his team to then address any of the conflicts. Conversations 2 weeks. At the next meeting, you will see standard affair as far as stipulation. And that will be again, the recommendation of the findings.
I just want to say, I loved the name, just speaking it. And now that I know the story behind it, it's even.
Oh, that's so
Just for my edification. That has nothing to do with the item we discussed like this, just commentary amongst.
Oh.
I have to.
I was gonna name something at you.
Very.
Everything's ground level, where you put it in basement.
And then, Yeah. The city when they, all the drainage being street level and all that, so it's gonna be, our name's ground level and then up. And then there's everything else to look at, I brought the samples of that, what we intend to use, I'm gonna say what these two were like, this tile will kind of go around the doors to the shops. So if you kind of look, yeah, you use your little.
We can switch back to mine, that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I know how you're doing that.
Brings out the word.
Did your resolution have different? Slide that has-
Well, you guys know about.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
well, okay, but anyway, around the doors, you kind of have, around the doorways for the commercial downstairs, you have this tile kind of stacked 2 deep all the way around. We're gonna kind of, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the season, yeah, over in Scottsdale, but they have kind of similar thing, we're gonna have some. kind of-
It's crazy, it's not me.
And then, we have like, this basic color, this is kind of similar color to our house, similar color, yeah, just called natural choice and then garage doors. And then, it's just for like some of the other. Things like, we'll kind of use this tile and then this for just, some color, like, for like a, kind of an exit in, and then this will be in some of the other sense, around the building, but. And then our main idea of Renee is to try to, just bring that, Santa Barbara style up, the stairway, and there's 2 big staircases in the back. On the right, we'll have, a Santa Barbara effect. So, and we, you know, this is, I just want to give you an idea of kind of what our color would be.
I'm sorry, I'll have a question. Yeah, so this wasn't really talking all about signage or anything for the retail, I assume that would come later, but like, do you sort of have thoughts in your mind that already about like, what? I mean, it just looks very nice and clean right now from the outside.
Guys, you have a six.
Kind of stay that way, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. So it's been a big discussion actually with us because we really are weaker soon, so we're gonna back.
Yeah, so right now, you guys are like, you know, like in. I can put it at Frank, as Fashion Square, I guess, but they're out, the outdoor mall there, there's gonna be signage that you kind of look inside here, there's actually signage in between. Like here, is facing this way, but and then the discussion of signage right here for the businesses. If we decide we want to do that, which I think we are, it will just be work with the city, but it's gonna be consistent. Right? Signage is not, it's mostly gonna be black, asphalt,
Or about the EMP commission, I say, council needs to be through the sign of update that included requirements of Industrial Square, that they are all back to old. However, it's within section 27C of our zoning code regarding the city center. All of these developments have not received any sort of sign approvals yet. We're all required to do a comprehensive sign program that would address all of this. I'll bring that before you, something to maybe just earmark ahead is. If there needs to be uniformity across each development equally, or if each one should be unique to its own project. I don't have it, any of the matter, we should look forward to those discussions will be.
And I always think it should be. And the architecture that you're using, so there you can't think. The buildings look different from each other, they should not have the same sign.
But on the other way, or too, you know, there's like having some guidance,
It's sort of,
like in Virginia, so you could end up with something. that looks maybe a little more, I mean, I know this is not, well, this is very strict, I don't need to, maybe these are like expert polish. And then I have something, I said something they could try to be built for square, or if you like that would be a very good comp. That's right, discussions, I think, for me.
yeah.
So that's not if I recommend they for that does this discussion regarding street malls.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I think I realize I live, that was the right live, but,
Chair, your motion tonight issues a recommendation essentially as is, these preliminary plans to city council. Right now, there are enough stipulations because this is the first blush preliminary design. We'll certainly take this conversation, carry it back with Jay and his team. And There's nothing further to add to the for a motion on the side.
Any other questions? They're going to be-
I guess, if that is, we're just making a motion to approve or approval as presented.
Yeah, for kind of.
For the, it's on.
For the preliminaries, and I think it's really be stipulations in particular, right, or just kind of, discussion.
Yeah. I need to kind of move her back, maybe we can sign.
Right. I would make a motion that we would recommend approval to the city council, the project. The ZB 2530. Subject to the exhibits provided, yeah.
Thank you.
Information. Second. Oh, you have,
Awesome.
I think a motion second, other discussion. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right.
Not, that part of the minutes.
Chair, support. Everything is going very quickly, between these projects within the square, we have now. Our council project, the art department project for the construction. The last little bit of that was receiving Liberty Utilities, so that's underway, they're full speed ahead. On getting that project going. We anticipate that lot 1, lot 2, the golf family projects should break ground late fall, I would say, that they're working at 100% construction drawings. And, we'll start talking with Liberty sooner than later, this kind of station, there are no delays with that. But certainly with Jay, it seems we look forward to bringing that back before even August, let's call comments and technical evaluation has been addressed. I would anticipate, and please tell your friends that the hill will be under construction soon, it will look bad. It will look awful, it will look as though we are tearing things down, we're not. The dirt has to move, 38,000 cubic yards of dirt has to move. To make sure that it does not slough back down to them, there will be shotcrete installed on a temporary basis. To ensure they do not get hurt. Landslide months themselves. This is all starting very soon. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you all at once.
Traffic will be a disaster.
For a long term.
Okay, any board members in the current report? Motion to adjourn. Yeah.
Second.
Say aye.
Uh,
Aye.